In Module 3 of the Algebra 2 for Credit Recovery course, students explore factoring and quadratic equations. Let's take a closer look at each lesson. The Module 3 checklist includes all of the lessons, assessment point values, and the approximate time to complete the lesson and assessment. At the end of the introduction lesson, students are directed to complete the pretest to assess their prior knowledge of the module content. As I mentioned in the overview training, it's a best practice to encourage students to put forth their best effort on the pretest since their performance helps determine which lessons and assessments they will need to complete in the module. Lesson 3.01, students learn greatest common factors, difference of squares of binomials, and perfect square trinomials. The assessment for the lesson is a 10-question multiple choice quiz. Lesson 3.02, the students learn about factoring four-term polynomials by grouping. The assessment for the lesson is a 5-question multiple choice quiz. Lesson 3.03, students learn about cubes and using the sum and difference of cubes formula to factor. The assessment for the lesson is a 5-question multiple choice quiz. Lesson 3.04 explains the general and standard forms of a quadratic equation, parts of a parabola, average rate of change, and how to graph a quadratic equation. The assessment for the lesson is a 5-question multiple choice quiz. Lesson 3.05 is a self-assessment. It asks the students to pause and reflect on what they have learned so far in the module. There is no assessment for this lesson. Lesson 3.06 covers rewriting the standard form of a quadratic equation in general form, completing the square, and using the general form to find the minimum or the maximum. The assessment for this lesson is a 5-question multiple choice quiz. Lesson 3.07 covers solving a quadratic equation by factoring and by using the quadratic formula. The assessment for this lesson is a 5-question multiple choice quiz. In Lesson 3.08, students learn about solving a quadratic equation with complex solutions. The assessment for this lesson is a 5-question multiple choice quiz. In Lesson 3.09, students use graphs to derive a formula for the quadratic equation. The assessment for the lesson is a 5-question multiple choice quiz. Lesson 310 provides an opportunity for students to review major concepts before the module exam. Students take a practice test to gauge their readiness for the module test. Lesson 311 directs the students to contact their instructor to complete their discussion-based assessment. Lesson 312, students are directed to complete the module test. Thank you for viewing the overview of Module 3 in the Algebra 2 for Credit Recovery course.